Hey guys, what's up? This is Morgan from MorganLett Insights. Welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited about today's video because today we are talking about Uranus Retrograde and Taurus for 2020. So if you guys are new to astrology or even new to the channel, Uranus Retrograde is going to be occurring on August 15th. On August 15th, Uranus is going to be stationing retrograde at 10 degrees Taurus from August 15th all the way up until January 14th, so almost 5 months even. Uranus is going to leave Taurus at 6 degrees. So from August 15th until January 14th, Uranus is going to move backwards or appear to move backwards through 10 to 6 degrees Taurus. So if you have any planet in the 6 to 10 degrees Taurus, you are going to feel this. If you have any planets, your sun, your ascendant, your moon, your Mercury, your Mars, and any of the fixed signs, so Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, and Aquarius, you are going to feel this the most. Doesn't mean that everybody else is not going to feel it. It just tends to affect those signs the most. If you have, especially if it is conjuncting, if you have planets in Taurus from 10 to 6 degrees and you are moving into a conjunction or moving backwards into a conjunction, this period is going to really show you where you need to do some do-overs, some redos. If it's opposing any of those planets in those degrees, if it's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, you are going to feel friction and tension in whatever house that may fall in, and especially whatever planet. Definitely pay attention to the planet so you can get some kind of understanding of what themes, what areas of your life, and how you can best work with. It's going to be different if your sun is in Leo, for instance. So your drive, your focus, your desires. If it's your moon, your emotional nature. If it's your ascendant, how people see you, how people respond to you is what's going to be affected by this. So pay attention to those planets and pay attention to those houses. For all of my people who have placements in fixed signs from 6 to 10 degrees Taurus. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. So what does this mean? What are some of the major themes? How is this really going to affect you collectively as an individual and as a citizen of the earth? All of those details we are about to dive into in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get started with this video, guys. So some major themes around this transit. So for starters, Uranus in Taurus is slow progression. That is what Uranus and Taurus is all about. When Uranus was in Aries, it was all about fast changes, now, look at me now. Center of attention, like how can we bring the most innovation to our lives? Like how can we always be connected and in the flow, and like always about engagement, rather than intention with Uranus and Aries. Well, now Uranus is in Taurus, and so Uranus in Taurus is all about intention. It's all about progression. It's all about evolution. It's all about practicality, like making things as functional and as relevant and convenient as possible. It's all about comfort when we deal with Uranus and Taurus, and at the same time, sustainability. Because when we think about Taurus, we're dealing with a fixed earth sign. So because Taurus is fixed, it's most like earth, right? When we think about earth, we think about rocks, we think about mountains, we think about trees, we think about things that are standing still. But out of all the earth signs, it's like 3 of them, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, Taurus is the most like earth. It's fixed. It's not moving. Capricorn is always ascending. It's always moving forward. It reminds me of like an island. It's always floating and shifting and metamorphosing. You just can't always see it. It's very slow in terms of how it takes shape and how it's always changing and moving. And then we have Virgo, who is mutable, and it's like going back and forth between those two energies. And so Taurus is fixed. So when Uranus is in Taurus, it's a time where we're very connected with where we are right now. It's about settling into our roots. And because Uranus is in Taurus, and Uranus is a planet of innovation and a planet of change, Uranus is like wanting to rip up those roots. It's wanting to spread those roots out and revolutionize those roots and take out all of those old traditional cobwebs and make what we already have, the resources that we have available to us now, we want to make them more sustainable. We want to make them more accessible. We want to use them in more resourceful ways. And so that is what Uranus and Taurus is really about. And so with Taurus ruling our possessions, our finances, our self-worth, in terms of our resources on an individual level, Uranus and Taurus really brings changes to how we connect with the earth, how we utilize the things that we already have, how we allocate and budget and spend and give and even make our money, and the systems that deal with our currency, the systems that deal with the collective and universal values, all of those things like that are what's going to be affected when Uranus is in Taurus. And so now that Uranus is retrograde in Taurus, some of the major themes is really making sure that you're clarifying your needs versus your wants, because we are in the early degrees of Taurus, and so we haven't gotten past the security level. So a lot of us right now are still building things. It doesn't matter your age, your income, your social status, there is something that you are still building towards. And this Uranus retrograde in Taurus is kind of coming back. It's coming back and showing you where there is still shaky ground, and also the ground that is already stabilized, that is ready to move forward. So you are building on something that we already kind of have started. And so the main thing that I want to point to you guys out is just making sure that you are truly in alignment with your needs, and making sure that you are practicing gratitude for what you already have. Because anytime we deal, these people, my neighbor is in his golf cart, y'all. Anytime we deal with Uranus and Taurus, we always want to think like recession, or if you look back, we're dealing with like the tail end of the Great Depression. We're really paying attention to our resources, what we have. And so anytime we're dealing with the retrograde, it almost feels like we're pulling back. And so as we're moving deeper into this retrograde transit, just make sure you are taking good care of your finances, making sure that you're keeping the maintenance and everything like that up on the appliances, your cars, just make, your roof, your pipes, just making sure like the basic core foundation that helps you do your day-to-day, that keeps you like your basic survival, okay, needs to be optimized. Like if anything else, you should be surviving beautifully, making sure that your bills, everything that's just like technical that you need to do to be able to go out into the world and feel comfortable, it needs to be taken care of. And so a lot of us are addressing the bottom line. The bottom line doesn't always deal with finances. Sometimes the bottom line is dealing with relationships. Sometimes the bottom line is dealing with your profession. Just making sure that you're getting down to the bottom line, flushing out your systems, how you do things, how you manage things, how you keep track of things, documentation, like just really making sure that you are taking care of the basic necessities in your life, so that when it's time to upgrade, you can upgrade effortlessly because you're already thriving at the bare minimum. And so you'll start to see people just like take off, and you'll be like, yo, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Because we're doing the same thing, and I kind of feel like I'm doing it better than them. And it's not because they're more skillful than you. It's because they're probably more consistent than you, and they're actually making sure that their bases are covered. They're not doing it for show. That was Uranus in Aries. We're having to reprogram our mind not to do things for appearances, not to do things for self-validation, but to do things because we actually enjoy them and because we feel worthy. We feel like these things are quality, they're worth our time. And so because we care about them and we appreciate them and we show gratitude for what we have, we naturally put our all into it. And so that's why I'm telling you, if you want to start something, if you want to move, anything that you want to do right now, you do not have to have this buku load, this bucket, this huge investment fund, or all of these resources, or a huge team, or a big house. This Uranus in Taurus transit for 2020 is like less is more, with Jupiter, all the outer planets in Capricorn, with Mars in Aries, Chiron retrograde in Aries. There's a lot of like moving pieces, and so this is not a time where like you need to just be doing 50 million things at once. You can do a lot with a little. Your progress, your evolution is going to piggyback off of each other, and they're just going to continue to rise and ascend until you get to this place where you look up when Uranus is in Gemini, and now you're a thought leader. Now you're ready to take your foundation, your keys that you've learned on how to survive and thrive and live your best life without having to do too much, without life having to be so hard, learning how to effortlessly find systems and routines and schedules and products and relationships that fulfill you without having to put so much into it. This transit is about ease, and before you can get to that place of ease, you need to clarify. And so that's what this Uranus retrograde in Taurus transit is really asking you to do, is to really just clarify so that you can get to that place of ascension and clarity that comes when we move into Uranus and Gemini, where we start to bring some serious actions and changes to how we interact. And we started to see a lot of those changes that Uranus and Taurus wants us to make. So when we get to Uranus and Gemini, when Venus went retrograde in Gemini, and we started to see all of this pandemic about how interconnectivity is actually a thing. And we're starting to see now with Uranus ruling technology, we're starting to build and upgrade and transform our technologies and our currencies to be able to match this vibration that Venus and Gemini really showed us, with online learning, online working, everything being remote, everything being interconnected, playing off of one another, all of the systems, public systems really becoming one cohesive machine is what Uranus and Taurus is leading us up to, but we're like in year 2. So we're just getting started. So this Uranus retrograde transit is exciting. Is it going to bring some hiccups? I really think it will. And, you know, especially in terms of our finances and our politics with the election, if you live in the US, you know, so there's a lot of nationalist and global changes that are going to be happening because of Uranus and Taurus. But the key is making sure that you're clarifying your needs so that you can really build a strong foundation and survival skills, so that when you do have this, you know, surplus of resources coming in again very soon, you're going to be ready to go, and also very self-disciplined on how to use it, because you know how to make something out of nothing. So gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Less is more. Clarifying, getting exciting, really taking the time and the opportunity to build the systems and the interconnected channels that we need to prepare for Uranus and Gemini, because it's going to be off the charts, you guys. And so I'm going to leave you here. I will be posting a Uranus retrograde guide for the membership for the MorganLett Insiders Club. So join us if you guys want access to that and to find out more on how this Uranus 2020 retrograde season is going to affect your zodiac sign. Peace and love, you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.